Hello, my loves. You've reached Joanne and Elizabeth here with World's Cup of Joe. Awaken your soul. We just love sharing this soul balanced energy with all of you. And we love your freaking questions, my love. So we actually today have two questions that we've combined. They both are very similar, so we just put it together and are going to address it with all of you because it's such a common question. And I think it's so relatable and helpful for your twin flame connection. So listen in as we get deep. So if you want to read it, Elizabeth, again, these are two questions from two beautiful souls, and we've combined them because they're pretty much the same question. And we know a lot of you are pretty much asking the same question as well. So we just want to get deep on this so we can tackle it with all of you. Go ahead, love.
Hey everybody, welcome to our channel. We're so happy you joined us today. Joanne and I just high-vibing. So while I get to the question, I want you guys to soak up this soul energy with us. Here's the question. I know what it feels like to be in soul when in meditation or living in the now, but how can you consciously be in soul 24/7? For example, while working or doing other things. What are some advice that you can give on living everyday life in the 3D while being in soul that can help me in my twin flame connection?
Elizabeth's so right. We've been like high-vibing the whole time before we even got in this call. We're consciously in the energy of soul, and we love it so much that we get messages and emails from you beautiful souls telling us that from watching our video, like haven't even worked with us and just watched our video, and because of listening to the energy of soul, bringing you back to this unity consciousness and helping you recognize when you're out of intent is allowing you to bring your twin flame in. So it's like this magical twin flame balance energy that we're sharing with all of you. And so if you found this channel, we want you to know it's a very sacred channel that shares balanced twin flame union energy. And the union is permanent relating experience energy. Me and Elizabeth balance this connection daily. It's no freaking joke. This journey is hard. Anyone listening knows this journey is hard. So we don't hide anything from any of you guys. We want you to know the truth, and we share the truth. We created World's Cup of Joe because there wasn't enough of balanced energy, truth being revealed in this connection, when it's literally what we use every day to keep our twin flames permanently in our lives every single day. So when you stumbled in this channel, it was your soul telling you you were ready to take in this balanced energy of aligning with your soul and being able to not only take in your soul, but maintain this energy so that your soul can keep continuing to come in. Now, the question of how do I align with soul consistently, consciously, and the word 24/7. First, so I'm going to explain this really, really deeply, and then I'm going to explain how I was able to sustain this energy. So first and foremost, you are naturally soul. It is your natural state to be in soul. Being in mind is exhausting. It really is, but we were programmed to think that we were mind. And so therefore, our whole life, we've been aligned with a part of us that wasn't us, which is mind. And we finally wake up to this cray-cray twin flame journey and realize, holy crap, I've been doing it wrong. I thought I was mind. I thought I need to be in mind to be with this person that I am. And then you get into this soul energy. You find out your soul, and you find out your twin flame is your soul. And voila, you got yourself in this place where it's like, I want to stay in soul. Why do I want to stay in soul so much? Well, it's like the only thing that works. It's the only thing that will make you feel better. It's the only thing that keeps your soul with you when you're aligned with soul. So the question is, how can you realistically stay in soul when you've been programmed to be in mind? I think that's the biggest issue, because your natural state is soul. You are soul. You were not supposed to be in mind, thinking your mind, and looking at the stories over and over and over. The most natural way I can describe this is you were always and have always been soul. A child that comes in this world is free, in soul, and is present. It is being in the moment that is. I do not have to explain to my daughter how to be in soul. She just naturally vibrates the energy of soul. She is pure joy. She will go down a slide and she is in soul. Now, this is a natural state for kids because they weren't conditioned enough to have that personality identification that we have. And when you stay in the presence, in the energy of soul, you stay aligned with the present moment that's in front of you. And so my daughter who's going down the slide, she's not thinking about what other people think of her when she's going down the slide. She's not thinking about what she's going to eat for dessert tomorrow. She's not thinking about what she ate for dessert yesterday. She's simply present and going down the slide. And it's natural for her. It's natural for you too, when you get to a place to where you have recognized consistently what soul feels like. So that's where the conscious part of you now stays conscious. You're the one that is watching the thoughts. Now, until you got to this place, you thought you were the thoughts. And so when the mind is missing your twin flame, when the mind is wondering why your twin flame's not reaching out, it stays in that energy and it just builds it up, builds it up, builds it up, builds it up. And it's like, when is my person going to reach out to me in the future? And what happened in the past when my person? So you're going back and forth, past and future, when all we have is this present moment here, which is exactly where your twin flame will meet you, in this present moment, this now moment. When you can consciously be present, you're able to get out of that mind energy where you're focusing on past and future. Now, what I'm saying is, you are the one that's always watching the mind. You have shifted to get to this place to where you can watch the mind. It's going to take some time. It's going to require a lot of mindfulness throughout the day. But you as soul, naturally, it's your natural state to be soul. You were born as soul. You are soul. But heck yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. I am constantly teetering back and forth in soul, mind, soul, mind, soul, mind, soul. But because I've shifted to the place where I can consistently stay in soul, I refuse to stay in mind for very long because I know how it feels. My body will start to feel the energy, and then I'm not able to tap into that peace, love, soul energy that I know I am. And that's where I take moments to be present. I take moments to step away. I take moments to bring myself back to that natural state. Like I told you guys, that state where my daughter goes down the slide and she's just free as a bird. That's my natural state. But if I am believing I'm mind, I get out of my alignment with soul. I get in the stories of my journey and my person, then I stay in that energy of mind. The cool part, and this is part of the ability to understand the energy of mind and soul, and this is why a lot of people who experience our detox program, they are able to shift in this magnetic energy of soul and understand their energy and know how to balance it to the place of they're able to sustain the energy of soul because now they can watch the energy of mind. Because you've had to have been able to permanently shift yourself out of thinking your mind. I can't unlearn that. I've already processed myself there. I've shifted so far now that I'll never be able to just be the mind anymore. It can't stay that way. Elizabeth and I were just talking, and I just told you guys we've been high-fiving before this call. She just said she was in a call with somebody who was in mine. And it was, I think you said 15 minutes, Lev?
17 minutes.
I went back and checked. So 17 minutes. And I'm telling you, she can see that it's mine, and she's able to watch the mind, and she's able to protect herself, or at least know that it's mine, and she doesn't want to be part of that energy of mind. But for her to get to this place, she's had to have sustained soul energy so much that she's aligned with peace, love, joy. And if somebody is coming to her with fear, anger, jealousy, she can feel the energy of mind. And she already knows right off the bat, from the beginning of the call to 17 minutes later hanging up, they're in mind, I'm soul, I'm going to bring myself back to now. How did Elizabeth do that? How did she get to that place? Well, she has to get to this place where she's consistently been able to watch the mind. And that's where you can live in the 3D world with soul consistently. Now, I would say that 24/7, don't track the 24 hours in a day. Oh, I was in soul at this hour, I was in mind in this hour. So you're gonna stress yourself out, and that's not how it works. It's gonna be your overall alignment. And what does that look like? All day today, I'm gonna be present. I'm gonna focus in the now, and I'm gonna be. I don't know when the mind's gonna kick in, but I'm not gonna be worried about it, because I'm just gonna be focusing on me and being present. And guess what happens? Naturally, mind will come in. Mind will get triggered. Mind will bring up your twin flame. Mind will worry about past and future with your person. But the fact that you've been present most of the time, most of the day, you can now watch those thoughts. And you're not those thoughts. The fact that you've been aligned with soul and is present, the thoughts come, and you step back and watch it. And we just talked about this in our call yesterday, where the beautiful soul that we were talking to was able to call out the mind so much that it was like, why is it doing that? Why is it saying that? Why is it talking about this the way it does? All of that stuff that I just said is an example of you aligning with soul. You are no longer the thoughts. You realign back to soul. And the more you do that, you're shifting into your natural state as soul. It doesn't matter what you're doing in the physical, you're just present in that. So if you're working, and I did this a lot with my job, I had to, before we shifted to just focusing on our soul purpose, I was working for a regular 3D matrix job. And it was a job that I really was unhappy with. It wasn't my sole purpose. It was basically focused on everything the opposite of what I wanted to do for myself, and not using my creativity, not using my own resonance. I was basically following orders to fulfill other people's needs for the company I was working for. And it was hard. It was during when I had to stay balanced. It was during separation. It was during all of those things that were making me realize I'm soul. And that was really hard. How do I stay balanced and aligned with soul when I hate my job? That's how my mind was. My mind was not happy with my job, and it used every opportunity to leak. It used every opportunity to complain, and made it all about my person. It was easy to leak when I was doing something I didn't love. And so that's part of your awakening. When you wake up to this journey, you start aligning with the part of you that vibrates in your resonance. And it wasn't very long that I manifested Elizabeth, who was also working in the same company that I was. And we both found ourselves in this journey, right? And obviously it was all divinely orchestrated. And I was able to help her, and we are now able to help all of you. And now get to this place. But during that time where it was so much to do, right? Working a regular 3D job requires a lot of doing. I took it upon myself to be present in all of my doing. And what does that look like? I had a fountain playing. I had a fountain in my office, and I literally would hear the waterfall. So when my mind would kick in about my person, when my mind had to be used so I can do the 3D job, I would listen to the water drops. And I could still be very, very efficient in my job and very, very efficient doing the 3D interactions with my 3D life, right? For example, driving, writing a paper. I had my master's around that time. I was working on my master's around that time. And in between, the waterfall that I used to listen to at my job, I brought it with me where it was like, okay, whatever is around me is what matters. And so if I was driving, I would listen to the wind. I would listen to the air conditioner in my car. I constantly made myself realign back to soul wherever I was, whatever it was I was doing. And that's how you are able to do and still be. So if you're in a call and you're on hold, you're present with that hold time. You're listening to the sound and you're being in that. If you're waiting in line to pick up food, you're present and you're watching the car that is in front of you and you're being in that. You're making food and the food is simmering in. You're present in the sound and the view of the food putting itself together to make the perfect recipe for your family. Do you see how every single thing has now incorporated to being present with all of the unfolding? There's no reason for you to be all in mind when you're cooking. Like, why do I need to think about writing my book report when at that moment I was making food? Why do I need to think about what I did in third grade when I'm helping a client on the phone with my job? I was present when I was talking to that client. And guess what, my love? It made me be really successful in my job because I was really, really present with what I was doing. And so even if you have to use elements of 3D stuff, you can be really, really, really present. I was present in my conversations. And I realized I've been doing that so much. I do that now with my twin flames. We had a moment where I got triggered, and I'm not even kidding you guys. This was just like 10 minutes before I called Elizabeth. I was watching like his hair. he's starting to get a little bit older, which I love, but he's starting to get like white pieces of his hair, and it's very cute. But I was watching it like flow in his face. And it wasn't romanticized. I was just present, looking at his hair and how he has a little bit of it in his face and how his shirt looked. And it's not just my person, but I'm doing the same when I'm talking to my daughter and she's holding a toy. I'm looking at the hair of the toy she was holding. She was holding like a little Barbie doll. And the hair, I'll even touch whatever I'm looking at. So if I'm looking at my person, I'll touch his beard. It doesn't make sense, but that's part of my present. That's part of my present moment. If I'm out in a party with a whole bunch of friends and everyone's in mine, I put my hand on my fingers and I feel my fingers. And holy moly, I am in soul. I am present wherever I am. The mind wants to complicate your alignment with soul. Being in soul is simply being present in the moment that is unfolding in front of you. Whether you're doing, you can still be present in the doing. Whatever it is that you're doing, be present in that doing. Watch your breath. Feel your fingers. Listen to what's unfolding in front of you. And you'll find you cannot be in mind and soul at the same time. You cannot be thinking about your person and worried about the past or future when your hand is in your fingers or your hand is in your heart and you're breathing in the now. It is a conscious effort. Don't count the hours in the day. Be in every moment that unfolds. And when you catch the mind, that's you realigning back to soul. So don't beat yourself up and be like, oh my gosh, for 24 hours, I was in mind for 6 hours. Well, in that moment when you were in mind and you caught yourself and you brought yourself back to soul, that's the work, my love. That is that realignment. That is you choosing to stay in soul. That is an example of me looking at my person, and instead of being triggered, I'm looking at him through that neutral state of presence where I can touch the facial features, his beard, and just be okay with what's unfolding. This is our natural state, to be in soul. I know this is deep, so join me, my love.
So I have my notes. So